Hey guys, I'm back. Today I want to talk about the relationship between us and our caretakers because no matter who you were raised with, whether a single mom, a single dad, a grandparent, or someone else, the relationship you have with your initial caretakers is really important to us, how you want to set boundaries with people in the future and how you are basing your self-awareness and other people in your life. Okay, so there's a way to listen to this video today. Any child at some point has had issues with their parents, whether mom or dad or whoever that you've been raised with, okay? And when you're listening to this video, my goal is to help you to feel better, to help you to get over, if it's shame, if it's guilt, if it's any sort of negative emotion that still is hitting you at older age, for you to be able to move on and feel better, okay? I'm not here to dismiss your emotions. I'm not here to invalidate your feelings. And I'm not here to say if it's your fault or if it's your parents' fault. So when you're listening to this video, you have to pay attention to not agree or disagree with the things that I'm saying. Because someone could take away 10% from a video and someone could take away 80%, right? And I'm a person, I only know to a specific extent of experience and the things that might apply to you and the things that may not. But I promise you, by the end of this video, there would be at least 1 or 2 tips that you would be able to use it and help yourself to have a better relationship with people in the future, okay? So anything that I say in the video, do not agree or disagree. We are not here for that. I don't need your agreement. You also don't need me to be here and like tell you this is right or wrong. I'm just here to tell you multiple ways, the possibility of why things may have gone the way they went, for you to have a little bit of explanation to help yourself feel better, okay? So again, there are so many extreme cases that I still don't know why some parents do. For example, if you have watched a documentary for Turpin's family, that parent were chaining their kids. Like the kids were chained from young age. There are so many parents that sell their kids at young age, right? So for that, there is nothing that I could say at this level online very generally to help, okay? But I do believe if you have social media and if you have access to see me on this platform, your problems may not be that extreme. I hope so. But if it's anything that we don't see on a daily basis very often, I'm sorry that that was something that you had to go through. But today I will try my best to tell you the things that I've learned so far that may help you to feel better and rebuild those relationships that maybe you're really seeking to get better, but it just doesn't work, okay? Again, I'm not here for agreement or disagreement, for you to approve what I say. There is no right or wrong. I'm just here to give you different perspectives of how to see things to make yourself feel better. Because at the end of the day, it's your job to tell your story. You are describing yourself as a person to someone you meet tomorrow in a corner, okay? So how you explain that relationship you had with your family, your attachment style, your experiences from childhood, it's your experience. Someone could talk like they're the champion, that's their definition, and another person like, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, okay? So I am going to teach you some positive ways for you to feel better, to be able to be more motivated, to be able to act on the goals that you have, to be able to change your life and experience different emotions than the things that you've been stuck on for a long time probably, okay? So the other day I was at the gym and like was talking to like some of the kids at the gym, and then one of them, he was around 19, and we were just like talking. He said something that really hit me. He said, I can't wait for my dad to get older so I can put him into senior homes. And for me, for someone to be so sure about a parent being so evil that you want to put them into like a retirement home or something like that. So I was curious, and then my program being psychology, I'm very interested in knowing things about people, right? So I asked him, I was like, hey, what makes you say that? Again, I'm not here to invalidate, I'm just here to give us a better perspective of how you perceive things in your favor, in a way that it would motivate you, in a way to use your pain for motivation, not your pain to be isolated for a long time. Again, some of us need time, but I'm here to show you how quicker you could feel better, because I'm sure you want to feel excitement, you want to feel joy, you want to feel more positive emotions on a daily basis, because that's why we are here. Any memory, anything you have, it's just a feeling, it's just the emotion. And emotions don't just happen because you think in a certain way, okay? A lot of times I try to think positive, but what you feel right now affects your thoughts, if you understand, right? You can't just think positive and feel better, because your feelings also affect your emotions, your thoughts, okay? So you can't just scream to the mirror affirmations every day. It's not gonna work. If your feelings are something that needs to be addressed, you have to find a root cause, okay? So going back to that guy, I was just like, why do you say that? And then he said, Asian families, it's just so toxic. He's not polite to me and my brother and things like that. And I'm like, okay, so like give me an example. And he said, so my brother is like 16, 17 years old. He is about to go to university next year, and he's playing video games. So my dad goes up to him with like a very like angry, like, what are you doing this, why don't you just do research for like universities and stuff like that, and it really has affected my brother's confidence. Like he has gone through like a lot of confidence issues because of my dad. Okay, again, I'm not here to say if it's the son's fault or if it's the brother's fault. I'm here to tell you a perspective can help both parties to feel better, okay? Because there is a way to use social media, and I feel like a lot of us use it in a way that we just want to hear something at the time to just get this quick high, quick dopamine, and then go. But I'm here to teach you a long-term solution, something that you don't have to constantly look for a therapist, okay? So how to look at this? And I asked him, I was like, how often does your brother play video games? And I'm not that person like, oh my god, you shouldn't play. It's not about if video games are good or bad, okay? And he said every day. I'm like, how many hours a day? He was just like 5-6 hours, right? And what I said, you also said you are Asian family. He said yes. I was like, what generation are you here? Okay, he's like, I'm like, my parents were immigrants, like I'm the first generation technically. And I'm like, how hard of a life your dad had? And then he goes like, very difficult, like he had to work a lot, he had to do a lot of things. And I'm like, because your dad has gone through all those trauma, all those sadness, all those hard work, the reason why his tone is not the greatest to your brother, because he doesn't know any better. And it's just the fear that he has because he wants your brother to experience a better life. I'm not saying video games are bad, but your dad simply just wants him to do a little bit of research about what program he wants to go. Then I asked him, I was like, does your brother know what he wants to do? He's like, no. I was like, does he do any research? No. And I'm not saying each person has to constantly do better, but if you don't learn, if you don't try to make yourself better, again, I don't know that son, I don't know the brother. The point is here that the older brother thinks the reason why the younger brother doesn't have confidence is because the dad is always yelling, okay? Again, I'm like, I understand. It's not the best way when your dad or mother talks to you in a negative, angry tone, which I do know a lot of us have felt it in different way. Maybe for the hair color you do, maybe for the way you style, maybe for the people that you hang out. So if there is any anger tonality, number one, when you're with your parents, if the way they talk to you is harsh, it's angry, it's rude, it's not correct. I know it's sad. I wish in a perfect world we all knew how to use better words, because words are powerful and the tone is more powerful. But you need to understand that parents, if they are angry, most cases, I'm not saying all, I told you guys those extreme ones too, okay? Don't take one word out of my mouth and put it as like a period for a whole situation. This is just a perspective, okay? It's because they're scared. It's because they want you to grow. It's because they don't want you to go through the same pain that they have gone. That's why maybe they're more strict with the things that they want you to do, okay? And I was like, does that make sense? I was like, your dad simply had a worse life than what you have. The hard things that he has gone through, that's why you can afford this nice building. That's why you could afford to go to college. That's why you could afford to even for your brother to have video game. When your dad was 16 years old, what was he doing? He was like carrying water from like different places and like working. I was like, exactly. So him being 16 was in such an unsafe environment and toxic environment. That's how he were raised. And he just wanted your brother to be better. I was like, I understand it's hard, but it takes, for us, the younger generation, we are the stronger ones. Unfortunately, it's sad. A lot of the times I have to take this step to fix a lot of things in my relationship with my parents. And that's all we all do. It's the young generation, because they did a lot of sacrifices. Again, I'm not saying if they did anything wrong to us is right, but what I'm trying to say, think about where do they come from. A lot of the times parents are scared. I had another friend, she said every time I tell my mom like, oh, I'm doing this, or I'm like quitting this job or that, she gets stressed, and like she keeps checking on me, like if I'm eating healthy or if I'm sick. I was like, yes, maybe her tone is bad, but it's because she's scared. So how can you make the tone of your parents better so they can talk to you with more respectful way? You have to give them reassurance. The solution is you have to talk to your parents to be like, hey, I understand you're worried about my career. In the same case that the guy that I told you, I was like, I understand you want me to, hey, I'm spending this time, I'm doing this research, I've seen this colleges, or I've did research about this jobs or that jobs I applied, and I'm waiting. Tell them that you are making the effort. Acknowledge their concern and tell them like, hey, I'm doing this because I know you care about me, okay? Even though this might not be the case in your family, maybe it's hard to communicate, but you have to do it. If you don't do it, you have to listen to them, wow, 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 to your ears, okay? You have to take the initiative. It's hard. Like in my family, for example, using loving word, it wasn't like very much there, right? But for my younger brother, I use a lot of loving words, because in my family it's very solution based, it's more support wise, like to help you, to teach you, but it's not much like hugging you or like not much physical or like verbals, right? And that's the case with a lot of families around like 80s and 90s, okay, or 70s. So if your parents have a bad tone with you, if you don't like the way they talk, think about it, why they're doing this. They are just scared of you being in trouble. It doesn't mean that they don't trust you. It doesn't mean that they don't take you seriously. You just have to give them reassurance, okay? If you are thinking about something, if there's something new you want to do, if it's a job, if it's a relationship, or if it's a friend, tell them like, hey, I understand you care about me. I understand you're worried about my safety. And I understand you want me to be a better person. And I really appreciate it. Because the love that your parents would want it, no matter how bad and evil, there has been a time that all of us, have hated our parents to some extent, right? There's those periods of time that you go, and that's how you value a relationship. A relationship that lasts 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's not always just high and great and beautiful. You would have those really bad times, those really hateful moments, those really, really uncomfortable conversations. And when you have those, that's how you appreciate the high, okay? I, for example, so many times did not appreciate my parents. And I had to go through a lot of things to learn how to appreciate them. So, going back to what I was saying, if your parents have a bad tone with you, the way they talk, give them reassurance, talk to them, sit down and like, hey, what is this? Like, they are just people. The other thing that I want to say, your parents are also living for the first time. This is their first time living life. We can't expect them to be perfect when clearly they has had a harder life compared to us. Their life was way more difficult. And just because that was difficult, it may have affected you. I know a lot of people that their parents have physically abused them. I still don't know how someone can recover from those, because I would say I was lucky enough that I never had to go through such physical, abuse. But those ones are really difficult. Like, think about David Goggins, okay? All these people that you look up to, look at their life. His dad was very abusive. Elon Musk, he used to be bullied at school a lot, right? And I'm not saying everybody has to be David Goggins. You could just be a simple Jack in a simple house and live your life. But what I'm trying to say is that you have to really pay attention that nothing beautiful comes without pain. So the more better things you want, the more effort it would take you, okay? So your parents were those same kids like me and you that once upon a time, they had a dream to be this amazing father. They had a dream to be a mom. But life gets difficult. But life puts them at situations that they couldn't be the best they could be. Maybe your relationship is now better with your parents, but maybe 10 years ago it wasn't. But it's also because 10 years ago they weren't at a safe place. They weren't at a healthy place. Because the person who is healthy and loved and feels secure, they're not going to yell at you. So the louder, the more abusive a person is, the more scared they are. Fear is unfortunately a very strong motive for a lot of people to do bad things. A lot of people are in jail because they couldn't control their emotions. Okay? So be more empathetic towards your family. Treat your parents like they're weak. Don't treat them like they're strong. I've said it in my other videos about like how to not have a victim mentality, and I don't want to repeat the same thing, but be more kind to your parents. I know it's hard. The other thing is too, ask for apology. I know. I didn't say agree with me. I didn't say this. This doesn't mean that what you gone through was fair. It doesn't mean like what they did was right. It doesn't mean that what you felt was wrong. But what I'm trying to say is that if your parents really were at a great financial place, if they were really loved, if they really had the job they wanted, if they had the peace and time, I promise you they would have given it to you. They did the best they could. They did the best they knew. Okay? One time, there was this thing that I was upset from one of my parents, right? And then I was telling it to my 7-year-old brother, you know, 9 years old at the time. Yeah, 9 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old, okay? And, you know, sometimes when I can't make sense out of a situation, I would talk to a younger person about it because their opinions is not shaped by society yet, is less biased, okay? And there was a situation that like I was just explaining to him. I'm like, what do you think this happened? And then he said, so do you think this parent is a bad person? And I was like, I don't think so. They've always did the best they could for me. You know, it was like me being upset about something that happened between the two parents, right? And I was like, I don't think so, because I know they can't even hurt an ant. So I just can't make sense out of it. And my 10-year-old brother, he said, we were just walking at a park. And then he said, maybe that parent just didn't know what to do at that time. And just simply, like my brother said, maybe they just didn't know. And I'm like, that's it. They just didn't know better. They just didn't know better. And it's sad. Education, a lot of reasons why in some countries they sell their daughters at age of 10 years old because they don't know any better. They don't have access to internet. They don't understand what is a person. So a lot of the things are objectified, okay? So that thing that my brother said, I was just like, instead of me hating this single parent, like trying to like be, like I was so mean to them, like I texted them, I was like, why did you do this? Like, this is like so unfair, da 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 da. I didn't know this, you know, like you sometimes find secrets about your family that you didn't know, right? But then how simple my brother looked at it, I'm just like, that's true. I can't be mad at someone for not knowing, you know? And that's a lot of the times I did so many bad things to my parents that I still feel guilty of. And I have hard times forgiving myself about those things, but I'm actively working. We all are feeling guilt every single day. But it's an active practice to know that, to be more compassionate about yourself and that person, that I didn't know any better. So if I didn't do enough for this person, so if I was mean to them, if I did anything hurtful, I just didn't know better. And regret is to not wanting to have the knowledge that you have right now, okay? So second solution is, in order for you, if like there's like so much heavy emotions between you and your parents and everything, I and my family always had the greatest relationship with compared to anyone around me. My parents are my best friends, right? Doesn't mean that they didn't fight. We argued a lot, but I actively tried to say and do the things that weren't traditional and show them that we would feel better if we just talk this way. We will feel better if we just do this. You know, I always tried, but I had cousins, friends who got bullied, who always got disrespected, okay? And I am very proud because that was me. That was me who changed a lot of things. And if your relationship is not working, it's you. And again, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying if someone has the power to change, is you. And I'm not trying to tell you that you're a bad person or anything, or you're guilty. No, I'm just telling you that you're powerful. You are way more powerful than what you can think of, okay? So you can change. A lot of the times we are stuck in the same negative feelings or the negative emotions with a partner, with a friend, with a parent, because we don't think we are powerful enough to change it. You know your intentions. All a kid wants is approval and good relationship with their family. If you're working hard today, you want to get back to your family, no matter how hurt you are. A lot of us are working for our families, okay? And it's hard. Some people don't have, maybe you have 10 people that love you, some people don't even have one. But if your parents are still alive and your relationship is not good with them, you can change it. And once you change that relationship, 100 other positive doors would be opened towards you. I promise you. You would feel way more better about yourself. You would see your relationship with other people. But if you don't resolve them, you're going to go into relations, say, oh, I have dad issues, I have mom issues. No. You can change it. You could make it better. How? Number 2, go to your family and ask for apology. Ask for forgiveness. I know it's hard. I know it's very difficult. When you go up to them, no matter how much they hurt you, no matter how much their decisions put you in a tough situation, but I promise you, that meant to happen. The person who you are today, which you should be proud of, you should be proud of no matter what has happened to you, okay? Whether you have achievement or not, okay? And the person that you are today, that you were proud of, you wouldn't be who you are today if those things didn't happen. You would not be who you are right now, okay? And you would never know who would have you become in an alternate situation. Some people have so many things. They are blessed in every way. They end up dying at the age of 20 years old for whatever mistake that they have done. So the things that you didn't have is not the reason for who you are today, okay? The things that you had are the reason why you are here today. Because a lot of people had so many things, but they just felt like they didn't have any, okay? Go to your parents. Ask for apology. They didn't know better. They did the best they could. It's hard. And the goal is the moment you open up that conversation with them, they feel hurt. Because I promise you, every day they are torturing themselves. They are feeling upset because they feel like they didn't do enough. They feel like they didn't do enough. Every person once has a dream to be a father, to be a good person. Everybody wants to be a good person. There is no one that wakes up that says, I want to be a bad person. No one who wants to be, no one. Nobody says, oh, I want to be the most terrible person on earth. No, everybody wants to be a good person. But the path you take to be that person and how your delivery and how the way you talk and how the choices you make would affect people depends on how well you are able to understand your environment, okay? Go to your parents. Apologize for all the things that you have done. Take accountability, because if you take the initiative and you be responsible and accountable for the things that you didn't do right on your end, I promise you, those apologies that you are seeking from your family, which you shouldn't be technically, there is no one's apology that really will help you, but sometimes it helps, okay? That's like a next level of mental health. But here, if you are wanting any of your parents to understand you, to apologize, to hear you out, you have to apologize first. You have to do it first. And when you go up to them, when you have that conversation, and when you genuinely tell them like, hey, go through those milestones that are still healing you, those flashbacks that you're still having. Go and talk to them about those. I'm like, how did you feel in this stage? How did you feel when I was 15, when that happened? How did you feel when this person passed away? How did you feel when you had your second child? How did you feel when you had this miscarriage? How did you feel when this person abused you? They are going through their own traumas, right? And at a young age, they had a baby. You're still probably single. Like, I'm telling you, our parents, every generation has lived a tougher life, okay? When you are so empathetic and so kind to them, even though that you need that kindness first, when you go up to them with genuine love, that, hey, I'm here for you, there is no one else that would love you more. Like, I had another friend of mine, she said like her mom doesn't open her text messages, but like she volunteers. I was like, well, when your mom volunteers, it means she's still caring about other people. So there's no way you can tell me that your mom doesn't like you. There's no way. Every mother, every father, they want the best for their child. And I know you might read in internet narcissistic abusive parent, or what's it called, selfish parents, like this. All this, okay, sure, you did that. Or you read all of those. Okay, your mom is the worst person and your dad is the worst person. They're the most evil person on earth. How do you feel right now? How do you feel about having such parents? It sucks. It sucks. And the thing is, there's no truth. You are making your own truth. Okay? So you have an option to think that my dad and my mom is this evil person, that they just were born to hurt me. They were born to like hurt me. Or they're just people who could make mistakes, who could have traumas, who could be emotional, who just didn't know better. And they ended up making choices, be alcoholic, maybe be addicts, that affected me. Which one feels better? Both of them are hard. But if you want to live a life to go and meet the next new person hating your parent, that new person that you're meeting is gonna hate you too. I promise you. There is no girlfriend and boyfriend. There is no coworker, no prof, no new person that would respect you if you talk like your parents are the worst. And I'm not saying go out and lie. Genuinely believe that everyone around you is a good person. Change your mindset from thinking that everybody is bad. People are hurt. People are trying to feel better. Instead of thinking that everybody's trying to hurt you, think about everybody's trying to love you. That's the best they know. I know so many guys who, when they talked about their ex, they told me that's why her dad left her. And I paused for like a good 10 seconds. No person would do anything that is worthy of a parent to leave them. No one. Because being abandoned is the worst thing that could happen to someone. And no sane person on earth would do something bad that would cause them to be abandoned by choice. You know what I mean? So don't say this person abandoned me. They didn't want to abandon you. Life situations has happened in a way that they thought that's the best option. They thought that's the safe option. Because they were scared maybe. Because do you understand how I'm trying to restructure the way you think? Because you believing that people are so evil is not going to help you to feel better, okay? So go to your parents, apologize. Be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't go to this college. I'm sorry, I couldn't achieve this. Sorry. Anything that you think is the reason why you're conditioning it for your worth or whatever that has happened, go and apologize, okay? It's a power to apologize. It's a strength to be apologizing. It shows that you understand. And when they see you, you are still there for them. A lot of us, when someone is in survival, they are selfish. They can't think about others. Okay? Do that and see their reaction. It might not work the first time. Depends on how far of a miscommunication is between you guys. But talk to them. A lot of the times, parents don't feel appreciated. Appreciate them, even if you think they didn't do anything for you. And watch their heart would blossom to like the biggest flower possible. I promise you. Every parent is just a child with the dream to be a good person, but they just feel like they couldn't do it. Empower them. Tell them that how grateful you are for having them. Appreciate them for the little things that they have done for you, depending on how hard of a life it was for them. Like I know some friends, like their parents left them for another person or anything. I'm telling you, whatever you feel as a person is whatever they are feeling. I'm not saying the feelings are equal, but what I'm trying to say is that have those uncomfortable conversations. Everything that people do that might hurt you is fear-based. And if you want things to be calmer, to be kinder, to be nicer, talk to them. If you don't like the way someone talks to you, address it with them. Sometimes distance helps, okay? Sometimes it's hard. You have to love people from afar because you think your absence would make them realize it doesn't help. It doesn't help. Like, the more you distance, I've done it a lot. Distance would never fix anything. It never. It gives you time to appreciate the things you had It gives you time to be more grateful. It gives you time to realize how much you love a person, but it wouldn't fix the root cause. The root cause is only fixed when you are close to that person, when you are putting all your pain away and you are seeing with the eyes of compassionate to that person, okay? That's all I can tell you. Your parents are also living for the first time. Like, when you are happy, they would be happy. I used to think, oh, this person is jealous. No. Like, jealousy comes from a lack of security. Again, there are extreme cases, okay? And there's no truth. You could show the same person unless someone is a criminal or a murderer or whatever, okay? Like, there is no understanding of why those parents chained that kid. There's no, yeah, like, that's tough, okay? But it's always going to help you if you, instead of saying my parents are these evil people, to try to talk to them, to spend time with them, to tell them that you will be there for them. Have those conversations. Give them the safety and reassurance that you wish they gave you. Be who you wanted them to be for you. And I promise you, you would wake up some strength in their body that you would have never thought it was possible, okay? Have those conversations. You will be better. And hopefully everything would work out, okay? I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to say in terms of parents. It's just more of a thinking that where they're coming from, what trauma, how their childhood shaped them. The result of an action or behavior could be painful to you, could stop you from opportunities, but every pain would teach you. Nothing in life comes easy. And I'm not saying it means you have to be used to sacrifices and suffering, but what I'm saying is that when the person is alive, go talk to them, appreciate them, thank them, even though it's hard. But I promise you it would change. Love is the answer. Love would awaken the most hateful parts of people. Because we would act out our character if we are not feeling safe. What a person needs to function regularly is safety and security. Even though you're going through a lot, go to them, hug them, apologize. Don't blame them. Blaming anyone in life is never gonna fix that relationship. And once you changed your perspective of your relationship with your parent, that's when you are able to build healthy bonds with people. Don't say, oh, because of my mom and dad, this is my attachment. No. You can always change. The studies have shown you once you're exposed to positivity, people by just watching pictures of like little kids playing game, animals, cute little things, their brain started more activating. Their brain has started working like a healthy attachment style. So everything is changeable if you believe that you have the power to change. And the last thing that I like to end my video with is God, because He has healed the things that I didn't know I could possibly heal. And there's this thing that says, the same power that helped Christ to raise from the dead lives within you. You could wake up those positive emotions. You could give strength to people. Be more loving. And don't think about how you could put them in retirement home, or that if they're evil, they just love you, they just don't know how to do it. Always think about, how can I love this person more? Okay? Because if you take every action in life with love and support, maybe not that person, but it would come back to you. I know we all have been surprised and hurt and betrayed. But again, there is a God. He's up there. He sees you. And He's saying that, send everything to His account. You just be kind. You just be loving. It's hard. But a champion, a person who is in a victory, is able to give. But if you're always trying to take, you're just accepting that you're low, okay? So, do you want to be the winner of your story, or do you just want to tell people and tell this sad story, okay? Because the best story is the comeback story. The best story is how you fix things. The best story is how things got better. And it's not going to change if you don't do those uncomfortable things. And anything that has happened, say it was my fault. It doesn't matter if it's your fault or not. Just give people safety and reassurance that you will be there for them no matter what has happened, that you are proud of your parents. As much as you seek their validation for them to be proud of you, they would also want the same thing from you. And all of us have been to a place that we try to make our parents feel ashamed, we try to bully them, we try to hurt them because we wanted them to suffer. But them suffering more is just going to make you suffer more. So the more you make them feel loved, the more you would feel loved. And if someone can't understand your love, you explain to them, you give them all the good reasons whenever they think about you, so they have nothing negative to think about, and then you take space. I'm not saying to be a people pleaser. Some people need time. But check on them. Give them reassurance. Hey, I know we're not talking. I know it's hard. But you're the best parent that I could ever have. Even in a different life, I would still choose you. Say that to them. Okay? I promise you, this would help you. Have a good day. Bye.